Are you thinking about moving to the beautiful Yellowhammer State and wondering how much it really costs to live in Lower Alabama? Well, in today's video, I'll cover everything from the rising housing prices, taxes, the cost of insurance, and other expenses that you need to consider when deciding that you're gonna move to our beloved LA. All right, y'all, we're halfway through 2023, and as you know, things have gone up. It's crazy out here, including here in Lower Alabama, but not as much as some places, including our neighbor, Florida. So I'm gonna go over what we actually pay monthly and annually. I know this is super important to a lot of our clients, and Jess and I just wanna, go over everything. We just got done doing our budget, so the prices are gonna be here. Luckily, Alabama is one of the cheapest places to buy a home, so you definitely have that to look forward to. Unlike our neighbor, Florida residents need up to 74% more income to buy a home than just a couple years ago. And real quick, if you've never met me before, my name's Tony Martinez, and my wife Jess and I are the #1 relocation team in all of Lower Alabama. I get it, everything is more expensive there. That's 100% true. But one of the calls that I most frequently get, and one of the most frequently asked questions, is how much does it really cost to live here? So first things first, the average housing cost in Baldwin County is hovering around $400,000 for a normal single family home, like a 3-bed, 2-bath. And if you're looking at a beach house, you're gonna be north of that, around $700,000. And that's according to the MLS's market trends today. And if you're looking at Mobile County, then it's almost half of that, hovering around $230,000. That said, interest rates right now are somewhere between 6.5% and 7.5%, depending on a lot of different factors like who you're going with, your credit score, debt to income ratio, what type of loan you're getting, etc. And it's only gonna fluctuate more throughout the year. Who knows? It might be the same when you watch this video a year from now. I'm not sure where you're at, but we're assuming roughly 6.5% interest rate within the median home category. Obviously it varies, but let's go with this just for conversation's sake. We're gonna assume that you're putting a 20% down payment to get rid of your PMI or private mortgage insurance, and that number varies as well, of course, but we typically see this being taken in consideration. Now, we're gonna give you a tax rate of $1,200 because taxes down here for the most part are pretty cheap, and we'll say $2,500 for homeowners insurance, and this includes hurricane coverage. Now, we've seen lower, but we also have seen higher, so it depends on the property you choose. If you're in a flood zone, aka near some type of body or stream of water, that'll be additional. So we have a $400,000 house, 3 beds, 2 baths, 20% down, no PMI, $1,200 in property taxes, and let's just throw in $50 a month for HOA. That puts you at about $2,500 a month for your mortgage payment. So when you look at these numbers, understand really quickly that housing is definitely not cheap, but there's a lot of other categories that may be cheaper than where you're at. Rent isn't that much cheaper either, if at all, and on top of it, you don't own anything when you're done. This is really a personal preference, but personally, like I said, I don't get it. I just can't relate to wanting to rent. I bought my houses every time we moved, and it always worked out well. All right, the second one on my list here is utilities, and in our utility category, we have electric, gas, trash, water, and sewer. I'm gonna combine those and the internet. We don't pay for cable or dish, so I couldn't really tell you what that is, but let's start with electric. We run our AC almost all day and night throughout the summer. Then you have the pool that takes electricity, our work equipment, the kids' TVs, Xbox lights, and our property is a little over 3,000 square feet. So it adds up to $250 during the winter months, and the spring months and the summer months are gonna be around $400. I also like to keep our thermostat around 69 to 70 degrees for reference, but with the kids coming in and out all day long, I'm sure you can't tell. Our gas, trash, and water and sewer are all one bill, and it's not that bad. It's like $100 a month, sometimes less and sometimes a little bit more, but it's usually right there in that sweet spot. And that's with me, Jess, our 15-year-old, our 11-year-old, and our 6-month-old. And just about everyone else you can imagine that comes to stay with us. I swear our house is a revolving door. Running a business and a bed and breakfast isn't as easy as you might think. Now, when it comes to the internet, I think we're pretty spoiled. I have fiber high-speed internet and I only pay $65 a month. And I say only because I paid more than that when we lived in Chicago almost 10 years ago, and it wasn't fiber. So I think we're doing all right in this category too. I personally have AT&T, but there's a lot that's out there, like Extreme by Mediacom, you got C-Spire, and even T-Mobile and Verizon have good internet options. So we know we have that. I know I pay $100 for my unlimited phone internet along with my phone payment through AT&T. And personally, I love AT&T. I think they're phenomenal, like hands down the best in the area. But Jess, she swears by T-Mobile, so her and the kids have that. We did try Verizon, and I didn't think they were all that. I feel like they're always dropping my calls, so I dropped them just as fast as they dropped my calls. I mean, I can't have y'all trying to call me and not be able to answer it. That's just bad for business. The next category is food and dining, and I think this one can fluctuate a ton. So here we have so many good deals on crawfish and shrimp, but when it comes to things like milk, that's gonna be a little bit more expensive. Then you have normal things like bread and eggs that have gotten more expensive just in general. I know Jess likes that artisanal bread, and that runs us about $4 a loaf, and a dozen of eggs is right around $4, and so is a gallon of milk. So it's definitely not getting any cheaper. If you're like us and you have a family of 5, a dog, a cat, I swear my house is a zoo, but it's gonna cost you around $900 a month in groceries, including those pets. And we're not the healthiest eaters in the world. I mean, we don't eat like junk food, but we don't buy all organic products and stuff just because it's so expensive. I probably would if it didn't cost so damn much, but it does. And then on average, we spend a little bit more than we like to when we go out to eat, but I get it. If it costs more for us at the grocery store, then it's gonna cost more for them to bring the food out to the table. So let's say for 4 of us that we go out, it's gonna cost probably around $100 ordering regular meals with no appetizers, desserts, and just drinks. Now, if Jess and I both go out and get a dinner, a couple alcoholic beverages, something like that, it's gonna run us probably around $100 too. I mean, that's with an appetizer or something though. So take that $900 and add another $100 or $200 depending on how many times you're going out or going out to date night. So it could easily be $1,000 to $1,100 a month, if not more. And again, these are roundabout estimates, give or take, however you want to word it. So don't come at me all crazy in the comments, and make sure you're shopping at Sam's Club or Costco to make sure you're getting the best deals too. Sales tax here in Alabama just approved a bill that would reduce the 4% tax on food to 3% starting on September 1st. Then it'll drop to 2% September 2024, provided that tax collections to the Education Trust Fund are projected to rise at least like 3.5% to offset that loss. And if they don't, then they won't reduce it to 2% next year, and they'll just have to wait until that growth requirement is satisfied. Next, let's talk about cars, or maybe I should say auto insurance and fuel. I've heard that we're cheaper than a lot of states, but we recently had a client who said his car insurance was actually less than Tennessee. Personally, my car insurance went down when we moved here from Illinois, and everything else was cheaper too. The cost to register your vehicle, the yearly tag, gas, you name it. I paid less here than in that crummy, corrupt state for just about everything. Real estate is cheaper, gas, auto insurance, it's all cheaper. I mean, home insurance is slightly more expensive here, but property taxes are so much cheaper that it makes up for it everywhere else. I mean, I pay 80% less in property taxes here. It's not peanuts, you know what I mean? So going back to car insurance, if it is more than where you're at, let's say in Tennessee, then you have to look at other areas. This is huge. Make sure you're comparing everything, because I promise you, if you're looking to live somewhere closer to the beach, we're gonna be cheaper than Florida when it comes to housing, when it comes to property taxes, when it comes to auto insurance, home insurance. And yes, we have sales tax, but we're still cheaper at the end of the day. So I think it's important for you to note that. All right, sorry. Rant over. The next category is healthcare. I know a lot of people are W-2 employees, So your employers are paying a good chunk, or at least, a piece of your insurance. And statistically speaking, it's cheaper here than most states. I go to the VA for a lot of things, so I don't pay a lot of copays, and we have Pensacola and Mobile VA nearby. Biloxi's my favorite. So, I have those options. But if you don't, let's get back to the cost of healthcare. Check out this graph. We're actually rated the 10th cheapest in all 50 states. That's not bad if you ask me. I know not everyone gets their healthcare taken care of, like the military and their vets, but if you do get 100% healthcare, drop it down below in the comments. I'm genuinely interested to know if that's still a thing. Now we're getting to the miscellaneous category, the random stuff I thought about that should help you guys. And hey, if you're getting any value out of today's video, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help. It tells YouTube, what a good job we're doing, which in turn tells more people looking to move here like you. And don't be afraid to let us know your budget down below in the comments either. I would love to see where everyone's at. And while you're down there, all of our contact information is down there as well. So if you have any questions regarding anything we talked about, or if you know someone, or maybe yourself is buying or selling or relocating to Lower Alabama, don't hesitate to reach out. But let's get into this miscellaneous category now. As a household, I don't feel like we spend a ton of money on clothes. We're pretty simple, as you can see in most of our videos, and I wear t-shirts or collared shirts and shorts most of the time. I'd say 11 months out of the year. 1 month I'm wearing pants, and I don't have expensive suits and jackets. There's just no need for it. It's hot. I don't want to layer up on clothing. That's the last thing I want to do. And it's just a lot more laid back here in general. I wouldn't feel right wearing a sports coat unless I was at like a fancy wedding or something. Another topic, Jess says that Botox is more expensive here than it was in Chicago, unless you find a deal or a special going on. I know I found haircuts to be a little cheaper. I found one place in FOLEY at Bob's Barbershop, and he charges $10 for military vets, but I tip him 15, so it ends up being 25 anyways, and everyone else is 20. So another $5 for a tip, and you're right there. Golf courses, you got Magnolia Springs in Mobile. That's gonna cost you about 75 bucks with the trail card, or if you're a vet, they give you a discount. Lakewood and FAIRHOPE, it still runs about 140 bucks, even with the trail card like I was mentioning, because it's an RTJ course, but those are nicer courses. Rock Creek is about 75, Glen Lakes and Foley is about the same. And if you're looking to play at some nicer courses like Kiva Dunes or Peninsula, you're looking at the same rates as Lakewood. It's ridiculously expensive. It's up there, probably in that 140 range. But for me, that's just too rich for my blood. Now, real quick, while I have the board wide open, I want to talk about those property taxes again, because I briefly mentioned it before, but when we moved down here originally, that helped us out so much. You know what you can do with an extra $10,000 a year? A lot. So know this, these little things matter. We get calls all the time about people wanting to move here, but having the lowest property taxes in the country is a huge deal. You won't find that in those other coastal areas. So go ahead, check them out. I promise you, you won't. And if I miss anything, please let us know by dropping a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.